a pre-issuance injunction against harassment. Astra Stanwyck versus Gerardo Jimenez, case number CC 2023-247454. Both parties that have a seat at the appropriate tables. So, plaintiff, can I have you introduce yourself for the record?
Dr. Stanwyck.
And defendant, can I have you introduce yourself for the record?
Gerardo Jimenez.
And who has requested an interpreter?
Your Honor, I was talked into having interpreter by court
Can
employee.
you answer my question?
It was me.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, may I ask to avoid interpreter as I prepared all my documentation all by myself?
So I confirmed about 2 hours ago that there would be an interpreter available, and obviously there's not an interpreter here. Ma'am, what were you saying about an interpreter?
May I ask to proceed without interpreter as I prepared all my documentation myself with no help?
Say that again.
May I ask to participate in this hearing without interpreter as I prepared all my documentation. As I prepared all my documentation by myself with no help.
Okay, well, preparing your documentation with no help, what does that have to do with an interpreter?
Well, I was talked in by court employee to request interpreter because due to harassment, I was under sleep deprivation and I did not understand well a couple of things during the phone call.
Okay, well, I'm not concerned about your exhibits. I'm concerned about your ability to understand what's going on and to me to understand you. But you're telling me that because of your exhibits, you don't need an interpreter. I don't understand.
I believe I can handle speaking in English language as I've been in this country since 1996. There are a couple times where I do not understand a word or phrase where I need to ask to explain. But in general, I think my English handling is pretty good as I passed USMLE exams, also English proficiency test to do medical exams in the United States.
Okay, but I can't explain to you what's going on. That's not my role.
I understand, Your Honor. I will handle that the best I can.
what kind of doctor are you?
Doctor ophthalmologist.
So my staff is finding out why we don't have an interpreter here, although we've requested it and confirmed it.
May I ask, may I say I had issues with hacking while preparing for this court case, while sending documentation. I have had severe issues, hacker basically removing court email while I was sending plaintiff's exhibit. I had in my email sending actually links to the court for evidence. Some of the links were removed or replaced, and in my plaintiff's exhibit, as I was delayed by sending the document, also hacker replaced all the printed video links on the document with non-existent links.
We're still waiting for my staff to get an answer from the interpreter's office.
Excuse me, Your Honor, I have 2 letters to give you. Can I give those to you now, or do I wait?
Let's wait.
Okay, thank you.
Interpreter, can I have you introduce yourself for the record?
Yes, Guntaga Apoltina. I'm sorry, could you hear me? The Latvian interpreter.
So you'll be interpreting for plaintiff on this injunction against harassment hearing. Her last name is Stanwyck. I think I'm pronouncing that correct. It's spelled Stanwyck.
Yes.
Introduce yourself to her.
Labdien, es esmu Guntaga Apoltiņa.
Labdien, ļoti patīkami ar jums satikties. Man, diemžēl, visi dokumenti ir rakstīti angļu valodā. Es pats rakstīju, un es gribu lūgt tulkam, tiesnesim, lai man atļauj runāt angliski un izmantot tulka pakalpojumus tikai gadījumā, ja es nesaprotu vārdu vai frāzi.
So, Mrs. Stanwyck is saying, I'm sorry, all my materials are written in the English language, and I would like to ask permission to speak in English and use the interpreter's assistance only when needed.
No, ma'am, there's a policy that once you request an interpreter, all your communication must be in the language that you requested.
Nē, diemžēl, tiklīdz jūs pieprasat tulku, tad visa komunikācija notiek tajā valodā, ko jūs esat pieprasījusi.
Diemžēl, kad tiesas darbinieks man pierunāja izmantot tulka pakalpojumus, man netika pateikts, kad man ir jālieto, ka visi materiāliem ir jābūt latviešu valodā, un ka man līdz ar to ir jāizmanto tulka pakalpojumu un viss jārunā tikai latviešu valodā.
I'm sorry, unfortunately, the court clerk kind of talked me into using the interpreter, asking for interpreter, and the clerk didn't inform me that's the reason also I would need to have all my materials in the Latvian language and also speak in the Latvian language.
Well, if the bailiff told you to have them in your native language, that information is incorrect, but I noticed that your exhibits are all in English, so I don't see how that's an issue.
May I proceed speaking in English?
Ma'am, you need to let the interpreter interpret.
Tātad visi jūsu arī materiāli, visi pierādījumi ir angļu valodā, un es redzu, ka šeit ir ievests dokumentos, ka jums vajadzīgs tulks angļu valodā. Es atvainojos latviešu valodā.
Kas bija to domāts vēlreiz?
Could you repeat, please, what did you mean by your explanation, Your Honor?
Your exhibits are in English. I can read them.
Jūsu materiāli ir angļu valodā. Es tos varu izlasīt.
Tad man ir jārunā sava runa angļu valodā vai latviešu valodā, vai kamēr viņš lasa materiālus angļu valodā, vai tas ir pareizi?
So, do I need to speak in English or in Latvian while everyone is reading the exhibits in English? Is it correct?
So, ma'am, I already told you need to speak in your native language and let the interpreter interpret. That I don't know how else to say it.
Pareizi.
Kundze, es jums jau teicu.
Ma'am, you need to let the interpreter interpret.
Lūdzu, ļaujiet tulkam iztulkot. Tātad, kā jums jau tika teikts, jums jārunā latviešu valodā, savā dzimtajā valodā.
Paldies.
Thank you.
All right. So this hearing was scheduled to begin at 3:15. It's currently 3:48. I have another hearing starting in 12 minutes. There's 140 pages of documents here. There's absolutely no way I can go through all of these documents in, well, now 11 minutes. So this matter will be continued. All parties can go up to window number 9 and get a new date to hear this matter. Any questions from plaintiffs?
Man ir jautājums tāds, bet
Now, you need to let the interpreter, this is part of the reason I'm continuing is because you're not listening to me.
Tātad šī tiesas sēde bija paredzēta 3:15, tagad jau ir 3:48. Man pēc 12 minūtēm ir jau jauna tiesas sēde. Dokumenti ir uz 140 lapusēm, un tādēļ šī tiesas sēde tiks turpināta citā laikā, un jums jāgriežās pie lodziņa numur 9, lai saņemtu jaunu datumu tiesas sēdēji.
Es to ļoti labi saprotu, bet šajā gadījumā tā kā apsūdzētā akcija, tad viņa darbības rada briesmas manai dzīvībai, izmantojot elektroniskos ieročus, digitālās antenas, digitālās vienvirziena komunikācija antenas tiek izmantotas, lai uzbruktu manā mājā un uz manā pagalmā, kā arī viņš ir uzstādījis arī elektroniskās ierīces uz manas zemes, pie manas mājas, lai man uzbrukt ar šiem ieročiem. Un līdz ar to es lūdzu pielietot drošības līdzekli pret apsūdzēto.
I would like to request to apply some security arrangement for me against the defendant, because the defendant is using electronic weapons, digital antennas, to attack my house, my yard, different electronic devices on my land, on my house, to attack me.
Piedodiet, viņš uzbruk manam organismam.
And the defendant is attacking, me, my body, and attacking my life.
Dzīvniekus, kaķus.
Also my pets, cats, or house animals.
Un jūs aizmirsāt pateikt, ka viņš ir uzstādījis elektroniskas ierīces uz manas zemes, pie manas mājas, netālu no viņa iebraucamā ceļa, un to es atklāju vakarnakt, un man ir līdzi 3 kopijas ar fotogrāfijām no manām novērošanas kamerām.
And I forgot to mention, or mismentioning, I have also photos from my security cameras. The defendant had installed electronic devices on my land, and it's all not far from the entrance way to my house.
Nē, jūs nepareizi pārtulkojāt, šīs elektroniskās iestādes uzstādītas uz manas zemes ir blakus viņa iebraucamajam ceļam, netālu no manas guļamistabas.
Those electronic equipments Mrs. Stanwyck is saying I made an error here, that they are installed on my land, not far from my bedroom, and at his entryway, not far from his entryway.
Iebraucamā ceļa, pie viņa iebraucamā ceļa.
At the road where the defendant drives into his house, driveway.
So, ma'am, the court doesn't have the authority to give you security for this matter.
Kundze, tiesai nav pilnvaras, lai nodrošinātu jums drošību šajā jautājumā.
Vai es varu prasīt, lai šodien izsniedz neatliekamu, var sakot, neatliekamu lēmumu, lai, var sakot, pret viņu agresiju, jā, līdz nākošai tiesai, lai viņš, var sakot, mani netraumē.
Can I request then that in today's hearing, the urgent decision is entered that the defendant is not disturbing me till the next hearing?
So I'll order the defendant to not have any contact with you until I make a decision on this matter.
Es došu rīkojumu atbildētājām neveikt ar jums nekādu kontaktu līdz tam brīdim, kamēr lēmums ir pieņemts šajā jautājumā.
Bet, diemžēl, viņš arī, protams, uzbruk ne tikai man personīgi ar viņa antenām un elektroniskajām ierīcēm, ne tikai viņš uzbruk arī, teiksim, viņš ir hakeris uz manām elektroniskām ierīcēm, bet es atradu, ka man ir šeit kopijas, kas rāda, ka viņš ir uzstādījis elektroniskās ierīces uz manas zemes, lai uzbruktu man, lietojot elektromagnētisko radiāciju, augstu līmeņa elektromagnētisko radiāciju.
I have here copies that I made that the defendant can install devices on my land which would apply electromagnetic radiation to attack me. And he is not attacking me only personally, but also hacking into my electronic devices.
Ma'am, I've already made my ruling on everything that you're talking about. Please go up to window number 9 and get a copy of your new trial date.
Es esmu pieņēmis lēmumu, izdevis lēmumu šajā jautājumā, par ko jūs patreiz runājat. Lūdzu, ejiet pie lodziņa numur 9, lai saņemtu, kad notiks nākošā tiesas sēde, kurā datumā un laikā.
Paldies, tiesneša kungs.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, everyone. That concludes this matter.
Paldies visiem, tas noslēdz šo jautājumu.
Paldies, Abolīs kundze.
Thank you. He was saying thank you for interpreting.
Thank you, interpreter. You're excused. So, again, everybody go up to window number 9 and get your new court date.
Un atkal, ja jūs dodaties pie lociņa numur 9, jūs saņemsiet jauno tiesas sēdes dienu.
Paldies.
Jauno datumu, kad notiks tiesas sēde.
Paldies.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. So, Your Honor, I can leave, right? The interpreter can leave.
Es vienkārši mēģināju izlikt.